and his Kikuyu counterpart, Kimani Ichung'wah, have also called on the county administration to shelve the order, saying that poor Kenyans would suffer. David Mbithi has that report.
Nairobi commuters are likely to be caught up in a looming showdown as the county government moves to ban matatus from accessing the CBD area. The consequential directive has been the toast of heated debates within transport circles, with the section of matatu operators hinting of a flat-out defiance at a press conference on Sunday.
We are going to be guided by what our employers are going to instruct us to do. If our employers are going to instruct us to come to town, we are going to come to town.
In the gazetted rules, PSVs plying Njagua and Mombasa roads will have to drop off passengers at Muthurwa Terminus. Waiyaki Way users will alight at Fig Tree Terminus A, and Thika Highway users will break their journeys at Fig Tree Terminus B. Railway Terminus will serve Ngong Road users, and Machakos Terminus will serve high-capacity PSV vehicles. Matatu owners have cited the urgency for more public engagement before the directive can be rolled out.
We urge the county government and national government to suspend this policy to entail more proper consultation. Consultation means really consultation, not showbiz.
Starehe MP Charles Njagua and his Kikuyu counterpart Kimani Ichung'wah have gone to the bat for poor Kenyans who will be forced to walk long distances if the directive is implemented.
Kama watu wa Nairobi na wale wengi ni maskini watakuwa wakitembea kama ni kutoka Ngara kuingia CBD, wa make sure kuna security, kwa sababu hatutaki watu wetu wanyongwe wakienda kazini.
We will be punishing our people when we tell you that you alight in Ngara, you have to take another vehicle, the one they are calling circular, and pay again to get into CBD. We will be making the cost of living unbearable for the very poor Kenyans who are struggling to be Kenyans today.
As of Monday, all designated terminuses will be revoked and treated as null and void. Nairobi remains one of the cities worst hit by traffic congestion in the world. David Mbithi, KTN News.
Right, now let's talk to our reporter, Abubakar Abdullahi, who's in the Central Business District. Abubakar, good morning, and kindly bring us up to date with what is happening so far in the morning. We're so different. We just saw Kenyans, hundreds of Kenyans, walking to their various destinations. What is the situation like as we speak right now? Are there matatus operating, and what are they saying for the matatu operators who've decided to actually continue giving the services to Kenyans?
Well, good morning, Brenda. The green city under the sun is a city on its toes as well this morning. Kenyans being forced to walk to their various destinations. As you can clearly see behind me, this is along Thika Road. If you gentlemen will allow me so that my cameraman can get a shot. This is along Thika Road. This is one of the arteries that feeds to Nairobi's CBD. And today, instead of many cars that, as usual, will be plying this route, it is many legs that are using this route as a destination to get to their various destinations as well. They say they are late for work. They say this has hampered in as far as their operations are concerned. Remember, this ban of matatus to city was supposed to take effect September last year, but Nairobi governor suspended it, forging it ahead to today when this ban comes into effect. The question and the power play here being commuters are the ones who are suffering in as far as this ban is concerned. And let me get some time to talk to commuters who as well have surrounded me here this morning wanting to give their opinions. If you can start with your name, utaanza na jina yako alafu tuambie hii ban imekuathiri kivipi wewe mwenyewe.
My name is Jacqueline Mnaji. Matiang'i, we are tired of you. Give us more time, Matiang'i. Huh? Don't punish Kenyans, Matiang'i. We beg you. Thank you.
Okay, let me get to a gentleman as well here to give his views in as far as the ban is concerned. How has it affected in as far as your operation is concerned? Are you in any way late, or this is your usual timing?
I'm totally late because if ukiangalia kutoka hiyo nini jamu imesababisha watu wengi wamechelewa kazi. Sasa ukifika huko hivyo usijue utaweza ambiaje mdozi. Sisi tunataka Songa apatiane muda, awaachilie matatu iingie ndani ya CBD. Hiyo ukiongezea kama hii hapa hivi, hii shughuli ambayo inaendelea hapa hivi, itahadhiri sana kwa sababu ya usalama wa wananchi. Usalama wa wananchi ni kitu ya maana kuliko kile sheria ambazo wanatunga bila kushirikisha raia. Wao wanajitungia sheria bila kujumulisha raia ndani. Hiyo inaathiri sana.
County inasema kwamba hii itasuluhisha hii mambo ya traffic. Unakubaliana nayo?
Sikubaliana nayo kabisa. Hiyo haiwezi kusema kwamba italeta suluhu. Suluhu ni mpangilio mzuri. Ukiambia watu nyinyi tokeni endeni mahali fulani hapa hivi, kila inini ikuwe na mpangilio wake. Mpangilio ni kitu ya maana kuliko sherehe zile wanaamuka kesho wanasema hii kitu ifanyike. Hiyo.
Thank you for talking to us. Brenda, of course, the road's turning to be an emotive matter in as far as access to Nairobi is concerned. Remember, City Hall on its own defense says that this will ease traffic and congestion in the city. And as far as indices as of now show that the average Nairobian spends close to 62 minutes in traffic. This is what they say will ease traffic. But to the commuters, this is a day that has started on a slow pace, hindering their operation and their transportation as far as getting to their various destinations is concerned. Of course, we will keep you up to date with the latest in as far as this, what has turned now to be a crisis, a commuter crisis is concerned. Brenda, back to you in the studios.
All right, thank you so much, Abubakar Abdullahi, for that report. Indeed, it's a slow day for Kenyans, a sad day to begin your day, and especially, Abubakar, for those also walking from Thika Road to the Central Business District. Of course, it is a story that we continue keeping tabs on. But now, I need to give you the breakdown of the different terminals that have been designated for peak and drop for passengers. Let's begin with the terminus for Uhuru Highway and Wayakiwe and Kiambu. And of course, it is that matatus using that route will have to drop and pick the passengers at the Fig Tree. And remember, Fig Tree is actually located at Vingara. And of course, then we also have matatus operating from Thika Road, Kipande Road, and Limuru Road. All this will have to drop people. And of course, the matatus operating from Njagua will have to drop people at the Muzurwa bus station and walk to their various destinations. Now, let's look at the Mombasa Road. Now, Mombasa Road and Langata Road, of course, their bus terminal will be Hakati terminus, which of course it's commonly known as the bus station, and that is where passengers or matatu operators operating between the routes of Mombasa Road and Langata Road have to drop their passengers from there. And of course, we also have upcountry buses, and these upcountry buses we also have to drop their passengers at the Machakos country bus. And of course, the question is, what if someone is traveling for someone is using a long distance buses? Of course, you're staying at Thika Road and probably Mombasa Road. That means you have to be dropped at your various destination and have to walk to the bus terminal that you're going to be using. And we've seen various matatu stakeholders raising concern about this, the security of Kenyans in terms of walking those long distances, especially during the morning, early morning hours, and of course in the evening. And this morning we were asking you whether you think banning matatus from the CBD will ease the congestion. And of course, continue talking to us on our Twitter handle at KTN Kenya or at Zeda Brenda, beginning with the hashtag KTN News Center, whether you think banning matatus from the CBD will ease congestion in the city. It is a matter of concern, not only to Kenyans, but also to different political leaders. We've seen of course, Tarehe, Member of Parliament, talking about it. We've also seen Kimani Ichung'wah, that is Member of Parliament for Kikuyu, also talking about all this and wanting, Nairobi County government to do something about this. But we shall also be having this discussion with someone from the Matatu Welfare Association. And of course, I understand that we need to talk to him right now. That is Dixon Bogwa, the chairperson of Matatu Welfare Association, joining us from our City Center studio and just talk to us about what is really happening. And Mr. Bogwa, thank you so much for talking to us here on KTN News Center. A sad day for Kenyans. But the question is, for how long will this continue?
Thank you for having me in the studio. Now, this issue of the relocation has been hanging over our shoulders for a long time. You remember the county government, the city county government started this by carrying out a gazettement in May last year. Now, the issue of relocation has been done in a haphazard way because there are no surveyed data, statistics for how many vehicles, matatus, really crisscross our roads from SA to town. And in addition, those that end their services in the CBD here from upcountry, so far there is no statistics or data for that matter. And that data is very important because that's what they should be basing their physical planning in regard to the PSV vehicles, the routing, the bus stops, the terminals, and so forth. Number two, they are supposed to have carried out what we call a consultative meeting. That means the city county government of Nairobi, particularly the CEC in charge of the transport, the traffic department, that's Interior Ministry, and also NTSA roping them in, and the stakeholders per se. So that's a full kind of representative that needs to meet, needs to be consulted, need to sit down and come up with various varied ways of decongesting the CBD. But when you pick the issue of the matatus and possibly think by removing them from the CBD, you resolve the issue of the congestion, that will not work because you are going to open other avenues. All the residents in this city, those who use matatus and leave their cars at home, will have now an opportunity to bring all their vehicles that are not supposed to be on the road. And that's why you will find when the matatus are not on the road, there's continuous jam along our city. Now, number two, when you drop the passengers at those areas that they have identified at the outskirts, what is the continuity of their commuting services to the CBD and vice versa? Maybe in the evening from 4 all the way to 9 o'clock. How will they get to those places? Now, you are also giving the cartels, the urchins, and the other magas really to rein in on the commuter, those who are trying to get their means wherever the terminal is. And matters to do with the public transport needs really to be tackled very, very carefully, involving all the stakeholders, so that at least you are able to create a way forward. And besides that,
Mr. Njagua, just before you continue, just hold on to that thought of the stakeholders. We shall be getting to that discussion later on. But my question is, there was a Gazette notice that was published last year, and it was supposed to be, this whole ban was supposed to be effective as from the September 12th. So you want to tell us this morning that ever since that Gazette notice was given, and before even it was given until today, no consultation has been done between the government, that is the county government, the national government, and also matatu operators?
Yes, there has been no consultation for a fact. That has been carried on. We have been around, we are waiting for that kind of meeting to be convened by the city county government of Nairobi, so that at least we are able now to sit down all the stakeholders and tackle this as an agenda and come up with a way forward, a resolution that will befit this kind of an exercise. Of course, based with the conditions of those terminals, that's the Park Road, the Side Road, Figi Tree, Mudhurwa, Westlands, and so forth.
All right, let's talk about something you had said recently on when we were talking to members of the media. And let me just get you correctly. This is what you said. Let me just get the quote correctly. This is what you said when you're talking to members of the media. And you said that the designated termini that has been located for different matatu operators to pick and drop their passengers are in bad condition with no lights and bad carpeting and cannot be able to accommodate all matatus in Nairobi. And we're also talking about insecurity of passengers. So is it that you're saying that, if I may get you correctly, following what you said, it is that this ban is being put in place without putting all the things you've mentioned into consideration: carpeting of roads, lighting in different bus terminals, and the security of matatu operators and passengers as well?
Yeah, on the top of what I said, really, the condition and the adequate space in those terminals needs to be looked critically. You see, a terminal like Mudhurwa, which was meant to occupy, to have PSV from Eastlands coming all the way to Mudhurwa. Already half of it is occupied by the hawkers. And then the service ground is not serviced. Yeah, there's a lot of potholes. When it rains, these are waterlogged kind of a situation, such that it's not tenable for the commuters really to get into that area, and also for the PSV to get into the area. We have more than 5,000 vehicles coming from Eastlands, which cannot fit into those into Muthurwa, and also about another over 4,000 again coming from the Mount Kenya. Leave alone the ones coming from the western part of the country. That's Nakuru, that's Naivasha, all the way to Kisumu, which are meant to end their services in various terminals, including the Westlands, which is so small. First things first, we must look at the statistics. What do we have? How many vehicles do we have coming from various regions? And where are they supposed to end? Are they going to fit in there? Do we have lights? Do we have washroom? Do you have shades such that when it rains, the commuters really can take refuge under those shades? These are some of the conditions that need to be put in place before anybody can even think of relocating to those areas.
When you talk about the breakdown of the matatus operating in Nairobi, let me just give you that breakdown, Mr. Mbogo. We have over more than 2,000 vehicles plying the Njagua route. We also have Thika and Wayaki. We're having more than 3,000 matatus. Mombasa Road and Langata Road users routes have more than 8,000 vehicles, with Ngong Road having more than 1,000. So all this put together, give us a breakdown of what you really want the county government to do. Because as much as you're talking about shelter, even the operation places for this matatu within the CBD do not have shelter.
Yeah, it's quite a big number. That's between 16 and 20,000 vehicles that really use our city county government roads. We need to look at that data. Number two, we need also to look at the format. What's the best format that can be used here? Earlier on, maybe that was in about 5 months' time, earlier on, they had come up with a certain scheme that every circle must have 2 vehicles. Although we are arguing we are supposed to have at least 3 vehicles, so that at least the one that is loading, the one waiting, and then the third spot is to drop the passengers, and then the vehicle move away to their respective holding ground. That's number one. Number two, they are supposed to also look at the issue of the holding ground. Although some operators have looked into private land and have leased for their vehicles to be kept there overnight and during the day when they are not in operations. But those are some of the issues that we need to look into. Is the space available? Is the terminal adequate? So that at least we are able to sit down the stakeholders representatives, the city county government of Nairobi, the Interior Ministry in this regard, the traffic department, and also NTSA also must be roped in, so that at least we are able to solve this matter once and for all.
But when you talk about, they need to look at the space, whether the space is available, whether the space is enough for all these matatu operators. Even as we speak, the CBD cannot accommodate all matatu operators. Look at Kencom, look at Ambassador, look at places like Muthurwa. The space is still not enough. So when matatu operators insist on operating from the CBD and the county government is talking about decongesting the CBD, what is the way forward then?
The way forward then is that we look how can we optimally utilize the available space, that is the terminal and the bus stops. And then you should be able to look at the diametric routes, that is the PSV that cuts the render services from one destination of the CBD into another. For example, the old style, the old scheme, the way the KBS used to do from Outer Ring all the way to Kangemi, and then from Kibera all the way to Kariobangi. These are some of the operational plans we should be able to revisit as a team, consultative team, so that at least we are able now to look into how that can be used, including the sparingly usage of the terminals. As I said earlier on, maybe maximum of 3 vehicles. The others can be held elsewhere, hold the ground elsewhere, so that at least you are able to utilize. And number 2, decongesting the CBD cannot only be confined to the matatus. We have also the small vehicles, the private cars, that are so many that have no restriction. As long as they are able to pay 300 shillings per day, they can occupy all the streets we have in Nairobi. That also should be able to be looked into. How do we limit that? If you go to developed countries and even third world countries, there's a restriction by imposing a hefty parking fee. Like the greater city of London, it costs you 1,500 to park your vehicle in the CBD. We are not saying we go that way, but in Nairobi also we can have a moderate kind of a fee, maybe from the 300 to 600 or 700, so that we limit the number of the vehicles coming to the CBD. And then the other issue, we improve the PSV services so that at least before the BRT system can come on, we should be able now to rent our services to the commuters, those who will be leaving their vehicles at home.
So now, by withdrawing your services and forcing Kenyans to walk to their various destinations, how is it solving the situation? Because it would have been practical for matatu operators to actually try and implement what the county government is talking about.
Yeah, we are ready. We are not saying we cannot go to those spots, but are they ready in terms of all the services we have mentioned here? Are they ready to accommodate that? Because waking up one morning and restricting the vehicles, PSV vehicles to drop their passenger to a certain periphery of the CBD is not a solution. I can tell you for sure because I have these facts. People started walking this morning as early as 4 a.m. to come to the CBD because they knew this problem will occur. That's not a solution. We have to go back to the drawing board, all the parties concerned, so that we are able to resolve this matter amicably and to the benefit and service to wananchi.
So when you talk about going back to the drawing board, having a discussion with the relevant government authorities involved in all this situation, why can't you go back to the drawing board but at the same time offering your services to Kenyans? Because what you've seen on our screen right now, Mr. Njagua, so many Kenyans have been forced to walk because there's some matatu operators who have decided to actually withdraw their services.
You see the problem here. We as the leaders, and including our SACCO management team, we are reading from one script. The city county government is reading from on another parallel, what called script. We are not all working as a team. There's need of convergence for these two groups, from the matatu industry who are rendering the services, very valued services, and the city fathers that are custodian of the city bylaws, so that we are able now to sit down. Yes, what kind of service are we offering? Yes, are the city bylaws convenient? Are they conducive to this kind of services, which is very important to our economy, adequate?
All right. And Mr. Njagua, my other question is, what is the way forward now? Apart from sitting down with Nairobi County government officials, what is your next course of action? Should they remain adamant that this has to be implemented?
We as Federation, because I'm a member of the Federation, I'm the organizing sector of the Federation of Public Transport Sector, an institution that pretends to be a single voice in this PSV transport industry. My take is that we allow the services to continue as it was, while we are trying to come up with a plan, and a sufficient plan, adequate plan that will decongest the CBD in regard to the traffic flow, so that at least we are able to continue serving these Kenyans as our responsibility.
All right, we'll see how that plays out, Mr. Njagua. I'll not release you, just hold on a bit, because we still have to continue updating Kenyans on what is happening, and your next course of action, you've actually talked to us about it, but probably when we come back, we shall be talking to you about the kind of losses you've actually incurred, because, I mean, denying Kenyans these services, public services, comes on, months, weeks after also there was that crackdown on matatus, and you've seen matatu operators also withdrawing their services. So we'll be coming back to you to talk to you about the amount that this industry has lost during that time and also this time, and the way forward. Now, let's take a short commercial break here on KTN News Center. But just to remind you, we're still keeping tabs with this, what we call it here as the long walk for Kenyans, from as early as 4 a.m. to now that some Kenyans are still walking, to their various destinations. The question is, for how long will this happen? And of course, we had given you a breakdown of some of the bus termini, and of course it's on your screen right now. Just to remind you, those matatu operators, operating from Thika Road, and let's talk about it's actually on my super wall here. Let's talk about Uhuru Highway, Wayakiwe, Kiambu Road, Kiambu, Thika Road, Kipande Road, and Limuru. Their destination is actually a Fig Tree. Fig Tree is located in Ngara. Now, let's cross over to the next one, and that is matatus using the route of Njagua Road. They will have to drop their passengers to Muthurwa, and that is as far as the position they have been given by the Nairobi County government. If you look at Mombasa Road and Langata Road, their destination will be at Hakati Terminus. I'm sure so many of you don't know the Hakati Terminus. Just to remind you, this is a commonly known as bus station where the KBS operates from. And of course, Ngong Road, your destination will be at the Railways bus station, and those using the upcountry buses, Machakos Country Bus. That's the place that you're supposed to actually drop your passengers. Let's take a short commercial break here at KTN.